weekly video series designed to take you inside the athletic department to get to know some of the coaches here as well as some of your fellow student athletes. Today, I have with me the head coach for women's golf, Todd Laxson. Todd, thank you again for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to talk to me today. How has the start of you just had the first tournament of the season. You guys won the season opener. How did that whole process go for you guys?
Well, it's been a couple of whirlwind weeks, really. We knew early in the August timeframe that we were going to be able to play. I know that I texted the team in August and just said, "Hey guys, aren't you glad you're waking up as golfers today? Because we have a season this fall." So that was really exciting. And then getting going on September 1st, there was all of this question about when we were going to get to start and those kind of things. So knowing that we were starting the first, we were originally scheduled to play in Pueblo Labor Day weekend. So we thought, oh my goodness, what a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Pueblo's tournament got moved. So luckily we actually had a weekend of qualifying because I have 3 freshmen that were, kind of untested. We knew how their seasons were going, but obviously even their seasons this past spring were cut short. So we didn't even have a real good feel or sense of how they were playing going into their college debuts. So it was great to have a week to hit some balls and get some practice in and then go play. And yeah, I don't know if it was good or bad to win the first one, but heck, we will take it every single time.
Right. Now you can kind of build on that momentum.
Yep.
That's great. So you were mentioning before that it was a little bit of a quick turnaround for you guys. How has prepping for this season been different from previous years?
It's our season always begins that fourth, or practice can always officially begin that kind of that fourth day of class of the fall semester. So we're used to a short version of kind of our build up and getting ready to play, because we always have an event right around the Labor Day time frame. So those that have been part of this team are pretty used to the cadence of what we got. It was really the unknowing of whether or not we were going to get to start the week of the 24th or the 1st. So since the girls were all on campus, I've got some senior leadership or some upperclassmen leadership that really took the reins and said, "All right, guys, we're going to get out there. We're going to go play." And so I really credit my upperclassmen with getting our team ready to go that quickly.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree that having someone there to lead and also be able to kind of mentor on a different level than coaches is super beneficial for you guys. And kind of speaking on that, you still have a couple of players from the year that you guys won conference title. Is that right?
Yes, we do. We have 2 left. So one is our number 2 currently. Julia Baroque is playing number 2 for us right now, and she was the conference individual champion in 2018. And then Regina Dillon, who is actually out on internship, finishing her PGM internship this fall, so she can get her Class A for the PGA in the spring. So she's off this fall, but she'll be joining us in the spring.
That's awesome. So you actually got their first conference win. So tell me a little bit about how the road to that came in and what changes you made for the program to help accomplish this for them.
I think the thing that the Division II probably doesn't get enough credit for is the amount of talent that we have available to us. I mean, there's not that many Division I, and I would say sports wide. There's not that many Division I programs that are going to be able to get a lot of these kids. So a lot of these players are super talented, and they want to continue playing golf. And so we get a tremendous amount of talent. So when I recruit, when I bring players in, and we speak about this a lot in practice, is I've already recruited you for your skills and ability on the golf course. And now what we have to do is we have to make those skills and ability more consistent. And we work a lot on the mental side. We work a lot on the pre-swing, the post-swing, the between swing, mental part of golf, how to reset, how to make sure that we are putting ourselves in the best place possible to hit good shots every single time.
Right. Makes a lot of sense, especially with such an individualized sport as golf. And kind of touching base on that mental part of it, it has the whole COVID and quarantine thing, has that affected your team a whole lot mentally as they approach the season and as they are trying to get started, and knowing that there isn't a national championship at the very end?
I think being that we have an individualized sport, as you've already mentioned, golf is a hard team sport in some aspects because you can win individually and you can win as a team. But at the same time, golf hasn't stopped. So I know that COVID has ceased operations on a lot of different things. Golf has not been one of them. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my players have been able to play in their tournaments. A lot of them have been able to do a lot of the things that are very similar to a regular summer, if you want to call it that, that
Mm-hmm.
we got to do this year. Sure, this at when we were up at Todd Creek, we practiced hitting balls in masks because we knew that the practice area was going to require masks and putting was going to require masks in the practice facility. Once
Mm-hmm.
we got to the golf course, we could take masks off and kind of work as a regular golf course. But we practiced with that. We made sure that we were comfortable doing that, and the progress really didn't get hindered by the fact that we were wearing masks and doing things just a little bit differently.
Good. That's awesome
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah.
Um, what are some of the things that we can expect to see as fans as your season progresses and into the fall?
Well, our next event is down in Amarillo, so we're going to play at West Texas. West Texas is a perennial powerhouse in Division II, so we're going to really get a good look at some talent in the Lone Star Conference, and kind of be able to pit ourselves against those players. The hard part's going to be we already won one, so the expectation will be, heck, we'll just go down here and do that again, and that
Yeah,
kind of is the expectation. But at the same time, it's a totally different pool of players.
sure.
So I'm really excited to watch them do that, and then we come right back. That's a quick one. It's an actually 1 day event. We're going to drive down on Sunday, play a practice round. We're going to go to sleep. We're going to get up. We're going to play 36 holes on Monday, and then we're going to drive home. So that'll be a fun one.
Fast
We don't
turnaround.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. We're not used to. Well, it's not that we're not used to those, but we don't typically play. That's not the cadence that we typically play in.
right.
So we usually play 18 on Monday, 18 on Tuesday.
Hmm.
So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun challenge. It'll be a unique opportunity for our players in Amarillo. We come
Hmm.
back the next week and go to Pueblo, um, where we've won before. We won that actually the year that we won the RMAC conference. So this will be another opportunity to see all of our conference foes again. And then we finish in Albuquerque the week after at the University of New Mexico course, which is a great golf course. Really excited to be able to take the team down there and see that golf course.
That's great. Good things are
Yeah.
coming then.
Yeah, good things are coming. We've got three freshmen that are working hard and trying to fit their way into what college golf feels like and looks like to them. And we've got some great leadership and players in between. So it was nice this last weekend that I was able to take the whole team. And it's a really kind of a casual setting with them. There's not
So
it's new. Obviously, it's kind of a honeymoon phase of a new team, so we're experiencing that, and everybody's happy and friendly. But I expect that to stay. I don't feel like we have anybody on our team that will challenge that or change that. I really feel like this team will be good buddies on the course for sure. Good support for one another off the course as well.
that's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Switching gears just a little bit, you yourself were an athlete here at UCCS for the men's golf team. So tell me what the transition for you was like, going from a student athlete to being a coach yourself. Was it something that was very natural and seamless for you, or was it just something that you had never really thought about before? What did that look like?
I never thought I would have the opportunity, just because when the women's program opened and they had selected a head coach, I was like, oh gosh, well, this is going to be a fun job for somebody, and I can't
Mhm.
see anybody ever leaving it. So, I graduated many moons ago, so I have coached in my current capacity. I've coached high school golf. I coach individually and privately to a lot of really good players. Actually, one of our former men's players is one of my students that I work with, and he brought home a few trophies this summer, as a matter of fact. So I work
Awesome.
with him, and I'm
Congratulations.
really privileged and privileged and honored to work with Colin in that capacity. So
Yeah.
it's fun to do and fun to work on these elite level golf swings. And that's really what it came to me is I wanted to work with good players. I wanted to do that, and I didn't find that there was a group of good players I could really avail myself to
Right.
until our programs actually started coming out to Cherokee as we were offering them the opportunity to practice and play out here. So just sticking around the program, offering, just trying to help as a volunteer and those kind of things is where it started, because I really wanted the experience to work with these better swings. My high school teams weren't great players, and a matter of fact, I taught 2 or 3 players just to play, so we had enough players for a team. That's kind of the high school that I was working with. So
Okay.
my kids that were playing varsity had no business playing varsity. They would
Right.
have been, JV or even lower than that on
Right.
any other high school team. So I
Okay.
was great with the fundamental swings, but I really wanted the challenge and the opportunity to play with some and work with some elite level swings. And
Sure.
so starting working with the team, it was just absolutely natural. I know that in other ways, basketball is a passion of mine. I tried to ref basketball, and I was never a good ref because I wanted to help the kids so much. I wanted to help, and I wanted to be there to help them. So I knew refing wasn't for me from that point. And being a student of this game, and being a private coach and a personal coach and teacher for a lot of players in the area, I knew that was kind of where my passion would be, and connecting it to a team just made sense.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And you happen to now be colleagues with your former coach in college. Is that right?
You know what? I actually, like I said, I preceded Phil at UCCS as far as I was coached by Steve Hersberg was our head coach, so he was
Oh,
the coach that was right before Phil. So
oh, okay.
no, but Phil and I go way back. He and I've been friends for a long time. Pikes Peak Junior Golf is a passion of both of ours, and I was the president of Pikes Peak Junior Golf
Mhm.
for quite a few years. So he and I have been friends for a heck of a long time. He's been a great resource for me, a great help for me, and then also a great accountability for me. When I try to do something, he makes sure that I know probably what I should be doing differently. So I
Mhm.
appreciate his expertise and mentorship for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest difference between coaching like a men's golf team and coaching a women's golf team, if there is a difference?
The difference to me is and I hope the girls don't, take this to heart, but I don't have to worry about them. Like I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about them when we're out on the road. Like they do their homework. They pay attention to the things that we need to have done. And
Right.
I don't know that the guys coaches can say as much of that as I can. I know the curfew at 11 o'clock. I can check it, and I don't have to worry about them. They are all where they're supposed to be all the time. Um, so I'm happy about that. I know these girls are doing their best, and they're kind of propping each other up and helping each other in that way.
Hmm.
And I also know that our relationship with our guys team is really important. So
Right.
I do support. I'm with the guys who are out here, where we make sure that we're interacting with those guys. I mean, this is a bigger family than just our little group of players. This is everybody, and so I get to interact with quite a few athletes, and I feel like that's an important piece for all of us. But girls golf is just so much fun to watch,
Right.
and it's fun to watch from the aspect that when I think of players with other players, like the
Hmm.
players that I coach on the male side of golf should be watching female golf. They should be watching girls golf, because the distance that these girls hit it is just as far as a lot of the amateur men hit it.
Hmm.
But they all need to understand how important a short game is, and these girls are really good at short game. They work hard on it because they know they have to.
Right.
So I tell a lot of my private students that LPGA golf is really good for you to watch, because the distances are very similar to what you would play, and their games probably match a lot better. The guys, even our guys, gosh, they hit it so far, and they
Hmm.
use so much speed in their golf swings. I'm not sure I'm really equipped to manage and help coach them. So
Right.
the speed of the girls' swings, the stuff that we work with, it suits me. It suits me right now, but it also pushes me to stay right on the kind of the cutting edge of teaching and coaching.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's great to have an advocate for women's sports, especially women's golf that is underrepresented in and media everywhere. So that's great to have you on the women's side, I guess.
Yes, it's one of those things that I think is a passion for me, and it's really come from the sport. I mean, the sport is a huge passion of mine.
Yeah.
Creating players and creating that love and desire to play is what really on my day job keeps me employed. I mean, keeping
Sure.
people excited about this silly sport and chasing that silly golf ball is really important to me, and it's made my family, it's given my family a really nice life and a really fun life for sure.
Good. Good. Well, and you have mentioned multiple times that you have such a strong passion for golf. How did you yourself get into golf, and was it a sport that you always saw yourself playing in college?
I always saw myself as golf, always connected to golf. I had at the end of my collegiate career at UCCS, I took 9 months off and basically didn't ever want to see a golf club again for most of those 9 months. But then I was watching my sister compete at the state tournament, actually locally, and the assistant at the golf course we were at said, "Oh, do you know that Cherokee Ridge is hiring an assistant golf professional?" And gosh, I had never thought about it as a career in that capacity. I really thought I was going to teach. I really thought I was going to be a high school teacher and maybe then coach golf, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically at like May 1st ish of 2000 interviewed for the assistant position of the golf course that I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been here ever since. So 20 years later,
Great.
I'm still here and have this to golf to kind of credit all of this to. So I grew up in the Springs. I played a lot of my golf at Patty Jewett because I grew up in Manitou, so that was the closest golf course to me.
Right.
The first set of golf clubs I got was from the Easter Bunny. So he brought me my first set of clubs. So I guess the Easter Bunny is responsible for my passion.
Takes all the
Um, Exactly. It takes all the credit. But I'll tell you what, and I tell my girls this all the time. The competitive rounds are cool. They're a lot of fun. I remember a lot of my competitive rounds, but the rounds I remember the most are the rounds that I played with my dad, my sister, my two grandfathers. So,
Sure.
we had 4 generations of golf, 3.5, 4 generations of golfers playing together. Those
Great.
are the rounds that I remember. My rounds on vacation, my rounds with family, my rounds with friends. Um,
Absolutely.
those are the ones that really keep the passion about just what this sport has to offer us.
Yeah. Yeah. I would absolutely agree with that. What is the most challenging part about being a coach?
Oh wow, let's see. Um, I think coaching is not the most challenging part. I don't think that's it. I think it's kind of all the logistics. Managing all the logistics is probably the most challenging part. The
Sure.
coaching, like when we were on Tuesday, when we I went to Dakota, who was playing our number one, who was having absolute physical back issues. Like, came up to me 7 holes before and was like, "If we had 5 players right now, I would withdraw." That was tough on us, but
Right.
she didn't, and she kind of gutted it out, and we made a plan for her back nine. And as I came up to her on the back nine, and she was feeling a little bit better, and I checked the leaderboard, which I don't do a whole lot, and I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that we were back in the hunt. I noticed that we were close,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked to her and I said, "Can I give you some information about where we're at, where we stand? Will it make you crazy if I tell you this?" And she goes, "No, tell me." So I told the girls earlier in the day, I said, "Look, Westminster's out in front of us. I think they'll start getting a little bit conservative. I think they'll start playing a little bit not to lose. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to squeeze the club a little tighter. Everything's going to get a little bit more difficult. The hole's going to get smaller, and they're going to start struggling. And at that point, we have to be ready. We have to be ready to jump in." Well, an hour before, I thought, "Nope, the ship is sinking. The trains are wrecking. We are done. We're not going to get there, right?"
Right.
But as I checked the leaderboard, as I came up to Dakota, we were back to the original point where we were in the morning. We were 5 back at the beginning of the day. We were
Awesome.
back to 5 shots back with about 5 holes to play. So I
Awesome.
went to Dakota and I said, "Do you want to know? Do you want to know where we stand?" And she said, "Yeah, I want to know." So I said, "We're back to where we were." And I said, "I told you this was going to happen." And I just kind of saw her body change. And
Yeah.
she was playing okay. She was even on the back nine, but she was like, "Okay, I got this. Here,
Game
let's
time.
go. And I was like, what do you think? Should I go forward and tell everybody else? She said, I think you asked them the same way you asked me. Do you want to know? And then they can tell you. So I went back through the group and started moving forward and told everybody, like, look, guys, we got to get it going. We got to make sure that everything counts right now. You've got to make sure that you are absolutely sticking to your process. You are sticking to your guns, and we are grinding out a bunch of pars right here, and we are letting them make mistakes coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And Dakota played 16 through 18. She played at, I think it was 2 under. The girl she was playing against played at 3 over. So that's a 5-shot swing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julia right in front of her I think she played the last 3 holes 1 under. And our 3 and 4 ground out one of our freshmen, Emily Simkus. She came through and was super solid on her way in. Couple of pars that we really needed on the way in, and Julia Eaton, who was playing 5, held it together for us, and she was feeling really bad when it was all over and said, "Oh my gosh, I made a bad score on the last hole." I said, "Well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad because we won,
Right.
so there we are, right?" So
Right.
so everybody held serve, for a tennis term, and we ended up I think with a 4-shot victory. So it was a lot of fun, and that is when coaching is fun. I was getting kind of shaky when I was with Dakota on
Sure.
18, and we were having a heck of a lot of fun. So that was by far the best part. But yeah, the logistics, the travel, especially right now,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all travel by van, it's all travel, no airlines. We're working
Yeah.
on we're working and staying in rooms and trying to eat and all of those things in all of the different counties that we're in, and
Sure.
everybody's got a different set of rules, right? So
Yeah.
we're just kind of being flexible and trying to roll with the punches and just have a season, which we're
Yeah.
grateful to have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and good thing at least you guys are able to have that season too. Real quick, one final question before I let you go. I know you have to get off to practice.
You're fine.
You were mentioning that kind of what you expected Westminster to do. How do you prep for a golf tournament like that? Do you, like, basketball teams will watch tapes of other teams? How do you prep for other teams that you compete against, or do you guys even do that?
Golf course only. We prep for the
Oh,
golf course.
okay.
So we do a lot of, obviously we get the opportunity to have a practice round the day before the tournament plays. We typically are given an idea where the pin locations are going to be on the green, so we can set those off. We can putt to those. Give ourselves the best opportunity to put a game plan together for a golf course. So golf is golf, right? I mean, it's
Right.
some of this I need to leave them alone. I
Mm-hmm.
need to have trust in them that they are good players. We
Right.
brought them here to be good players, but there are places where we have to be specific and intentional about the golf shots that we're hitting or the places that we're putting the golf shot to make the next shot a little bit easier.
Right.
So, we're gonna get a little bit of, oh, who we're gonna play with. So sometimes you have to manage that emotionally. You have to
Yep.
manage, oh, who you're playing with. So sometimes there's a volatile player, or sometimes there's a player that is just kind of not that much fun to play with, right? So we have to manage that a little bit. But more than anything, we're managing our players on that golf course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like it's a lot of the golf is a lot of a mental sport for your athletes. So being able to control what you can is probably really the easiest and only thing that you guys are able to do.
Control the controllables. And I know a lot of coaches say it, and I know it's very cliche, but we wrote a book.
Right.
The opportunity, COVID gave us the opportunity this summer that I could meet with the girls. We met on a Teams meeting about every 10 days, and we
Mm-hmm.
have the book that we've been reading. So we would meet, and we call it book club, right? So we would
Mm-hmm.
just every few days we were in and we were reading a few chapters. One of the girls, in typical college fashion, was like, "Well, do we have to get this book done by the end of summer?" I was like, "No, no, 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 no. The idea is to get the information and use
Right.
it, not to speed through the book and finish it, right?"
Right. Yep.
So we got 13 chapters done this summer, and we're going to continue reading, and this will be required reading for every one of my freshman classes going forward. As long as I am a coach here, we'll be reading this book because it is full of tools. It's full of opportunity and information for us to use and implement, no matter what, who it is.
Right.
So we'll use this book forever.
Well, that's amazing. Good luck with the rest of your season. We'll probably try to snag you and maybe one of your players later on to talk about expectations going into postseason and the following spring seasons that you guys will have.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Mountain Lions Nation, you have just been watching Lionsverse. Tune in next week where I will sit down and chat with the head of men's golf next week. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon.